Hello and welcome to another edition of Motorcars Enthusiasts. On this particular episode, it's time for the Fat Bald Perspective. You're going to get to hear my Fat Bald Perspective on the first season of the new go-round for Top Gear, Season 24, Episode 1 of this particular franchise. And right off the bat, some of you may like that particular reference, we got to talk about the Chris Evans era. Now, Chris Evans actually took over the mantle from Jeremy Clarkson, James May, and Richard Hammond that were ousted in the last go-round for this particular series. They come in Season 23, and I'm one of those people that thought that Chris Evans did a fine job with this program. Albeit some of the parts were kind of a little bit iffy, and maybe he could have done a better job in a lot of places, but for the most part, I think he did a nice job with this particular series, but was unfortunately ousted after just one season. So the program continued on with its now somewhat familiar trio style inside of this program, that being Chris Harris, Matt LeBlanc, and Rory Reed. And I think these three guys are going to do a fine job with this program, hopefully moving into the future, even though it's going to take a little bit of time, because I don't think the chemistry is quite there yet between these three. Now, if we get back to the Top Gear as a whole, the BBC has spent a boatload of money on this particular program. Obviously, they built a brand new studio for the last go-round of Top Gear, Season 23. Season 24 gets another brand new studio that looks very, very nice. It looks warm. It looks inviting. I like some of the props inside of the actual program itself. It does have a little bit of that Top Gear feel, but it really did, these guys really did make it their own in this go-round. I'm not going to spoil anything about this particular program. There is a car segment inside of the program that deals with very old cars with a lot of miles on the clock. They actually got an ultra rare supercar running with one of the presenters inside of it. And then, of course, the reasonably priced car segment returns, actually with that brand new reasonably priced car, which is not reasonably priced car per se, I guess you could say. And that was an interesting style inside of this program, because no longer is it a long, drawn-out interview-style segment where the celebrity is actually on stage for a fair amount of the program as they kind of continue on with the program, even though he's sitting right there like he isn't there, which was kind of interesting, which did make it feel fresh and new, even though it was kind of weird, because you kept thinking, okay, when are they going to go on with this part? The show, as far as the way it's shot, it's not near as pretty as it used to be back in the Clarkson May Hammond era. I know a lot of those folks left and goes with those guys over to Amazon for their new program. But as far as the first episode, it worked well. It moved along at a nice pace. And there were some jokes in there, and it was shot decently well. And it didn't feel disconjointed, something that really got to see a lot of in the last go-round of Top Gear, the Chris Evans era. But there wasn't any cringe moments, at least in the first episode of this program. There's only going to be 7 this go-round for us, so at least for the first episode we didn't see it. May get to see it in some of the next 6. Cringe moments meaning that you just watch something and you're thinking, what in the world are they doing? Why are they doing this? This is just kind of strange. And I didn't seem to have this. Maybe one little tiny point inside of this where it was way off base of anything else they were doing that you may have been able to look at and think that that was a little bit disconjointed or a little bit cringe-worthy. There was a couple of scenes inside of the brand new Grand Tour that were definitely cringe-worthy in the first go-round for that new Amazon Prime show. So I have to say, attaboy for the folks at Top Gear who didn't have that at least in their first episode. Now let's get along with the presenters themselves. These 3 guys who probably haven't worked a massive amount together, but I have to say, if we go through them one by one, the first one, Rory Reed. Rory Reed's hugely impressive to me for being just mainly an internet YouTube guy, just like a lot of us. I thought he did an exceptional job inside of this. He did an exceptional job last year. He does another good job this year. He doesn't get a lot of the jokes that a lot are written for a lot of the folks inside of this program, but he does a lot of the laughing, which he's got a pretty infectious laugh. But otherwise, he feels real genuine, real. I mean, he really works inside of this program. Matt LeBlanc on that end, just like in last year, you keep thinking that he's on a scripted show. That's the way he's kind of got to feel. It's kind of weird seeing him bounce off of other guys as far as their reactions and things like this, because I don't know if he just thinks he needs to know exactly what they're going to say before they're going to say it to really have that precise look. But I really felt that you started to see the real Matt LeBlanc in last year's and some of the back episodes, but you're not getting to see that, at least right now. Chris Harris is probably the guy I like the most out of this program, but the trick was he felt very, very over the top. As far as I like him as a guy, as far as his programs, like in his YouTube programs and whatnot, he's very good by himself, but he's a little bit awkward and weird when he gets around the other presenters. But I think that's something that's going to play in his favor coming soon once the chemistry tries to get together. Now, overall, I'm really, really nitpicking these guys. They all did a fine job inside of this, and that chemistry is going to grow. I really feel that you're going to start to see a little bit more and more of this chemistry growing. Because, again, you watch the Clarkson May Hammond era, especially Season 2, Season 3 of that particular go-round of Top Gear, you really saw something that just wasn't like the later episodes in the later seasons, where those guys are beating on each other nonstop, making a lot of punches at each other's expenses. That's something that didn't happen till well into the series. You saw a lot of hugging going on, which was weird to see if you know the back catalog of that particular series. But I have to say, I think the three guys did a great job, and I think overall, I think the program worked pretty well. Decently shot, well-paced. It worked really well, especially for their first go-round. It didn't seem like that there was one of those deals like with the last Top Gear or the last Grand Tour, where the first episode you thought, man, they really could have put a better episode in front of this deal to really kind of get you to hang on to this program, because really, if the first episode comes out and it's terrible, a lot of people will just jump ship. Now, this program didn't get the world's greatest ratings. Under 3 million people actually watched this first go-round. And obviously, me here in the United States, meaning that I did have to hunt around and find it on the old internets, found a very poor quality. I do not condone this. I do not recommend that you do this. And this could very well be my last ever episode of this program, as the BBC might pull the plug on this little YouTube channel. But I will say I will watch it when it comes out on the BBC America in just about 6 days. But I sure as heck wasn't going to wait an entire week to actually get to see this next go-round of this particular program. I have to say, looking really forward to Season 2, or I should say Episode 2 of Season 24. And I'll come back at the end of this season after their 7-episode go-round and give you what I thought about the season as a whole. And that's all there was that I thought was worth talking about for this edition of Motorcars Enthusiast. Don't forget to like us over on the Facebook page. The link's down in the show notes. Also, if you'd like to subscribe to the channel, you can do so at any time and get the first dibs on the brand new shows as soon as they come out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again real soon.